Grief is a universal experience we all face as human beings. Grieving the death of a loved one is never easy, but mental health experts say suicide can lead to a painfully haunting sense of loss.
And in our special series, To Save One Life, we are going to examine the guilt and sometimes shame that many suicide survivors live with and the ways to help them cope. Art therapy is a form of expression for Violet Baily, and it's really helped her overcome painful experiences like the suicide death of her son's father. For a long time, she lived with a sense of guilt.
Feeling like I should have spent more time with him. I should have had my son spend more time with him. We should have spent more time together, probably as a family.
People who have survived the loss of someone by suicide, what we find is that the grief reaction is different than someone who has, a loss by something else, a car accident or a medical condition.
Claudia Vincencio is the clinical supervisor of Memorial Healthcare's Behavioral Health Outpatient Center. Unlike other forms of death, she says survivors of suicide often feel that somehow they should have been able to prevent it.
A lot of times the person will try to retrace their steps or think about just obsessively, we talked about intrusive thoughts, going back to the last time you saw them, what were they doing, what was going on.
Along with anger, Vincencio says survivors can suffer from feelings of rejection.
It's like this person, they could have stayed for me, but they didn't.
And confusion.
Because my mind cannot make sense of why this person killed themselves.
Because there's an increased risk of depression and even suicidal behavior among survivors, Vincencio says individual and group therapy is vital.
We are actually preventing future suicide by helping people who have survived the loss of someone, by helping them understand what's going on, by providing them the support.
Violet continues to participate in support groups, helping herself and other survivors of suicide.
I understand that it was not my fault for many years. I blamed myself. I blamed, not reaching out the way I should have. And I've come to peace with that. My faith has helped me with that.
And society, of course, still does attach a stigma to suicide, which means survivors sometimes encounter blame, even judgment, rather than sympathy and compassion. Just by reaching out, you can help take that painful stigma out of the equation.